Alright, so it looks like Trish is going to lay down for a little bit before the final grand finale end of beta experience that we have in store for us this evening. So I thought I'd do something just a little bit different. I thought I'd talk about character creation. Now, ever since I started streaming on Twitch, I've already had some characters put together for the open beta, but let's just go through the process of setting up a character yourself for when you start playing the game so you can join Trish and I, because of course, that's what you're going to do, right? Right. So, once you log into the game, you should see this screen. Oh, I should preface this by saying all of this is based around what we have in beta. Now, things might change between beta and the launch of the game, but as it stands now, this is a blank slate. This is the character creation screen. First thing I want to let you know about is your server, your realm, is located up here. Now, if you have other friends playing in the game, you might want to check with them as to what server or realm they're playing on. And if they're playing on a different server than the one the game starts you out on, you can click Change. Go to All Servers and find whatever server they're on. Let's say your friend is on Orias. Then you can enter the realm. And that changes the realm to Alyssa. Well, that should be Orias. Did I choose Alyssa? I must have chosen Alyssa as opposed to Orias. There we go. Same sheep, different server. So, now, let's make our new character. Now, this is a science fiction game, as I'm sure the last screen probably indicated to you. So, we have not elves and dwarves and wizards, but robots and aliens, and, of course, humans. A brief bit of information. There are two factions in this game. This is the Dominion, which is a powerful interstellar empire that considers Nexus its rightful legacy and will conquer it at all costs, just like it says there. The other faction, and the faction that I tend to like, is the Exiles. These are refugees that have been pushed out of their homes by the Dominion, and they are also on Nexus trying to make a new home. So, each faction has a human race, but they have some other alien races. The Exiles have the Auran, which are kind of big-eared, fluffy-tailed tree huggers. The Granic, who are living stone organisms. Actually, I think just their skin is stone. Technically, they're squishy on the inside. And the Mordesh. These are not space zombies, as you might expect, but they're a race that has a virulent contagion, and so they've had to have this substance called Vitalis pumped into their bodies. That's what you see in the little plexiglass areas there. On the Dominion side, we've got Cassian, which is their version of human. That's just the planet that those humans came from. The Draken, who are a warlike race, happy to serve and rack up a bunch of kills for the Dominion. The Chua, psychotic little rodents. They are very short and very psychotic. And finally, the Mikari, a race of sentient robots. Character creation is actually fairly simple in this game. You don't have to worry about stats, per se. You just decide what type of character you want to play, what race. Let's say we're going to make a Granic, for instance. What class? You can find out more about the classes in a great video that Carbine Studios put out, but briefly, warriors are fighters, engineers are sort of tanks and sort of pet users. They have robots they can send into battle. Actually, let's use the human. The human is the only race that can be all of these classes. Every other race has a limitation. Espers, psychics, medics, not just healers, but also good in a fight. They wear medium armor. They have these things called resonators, kind of like paddles that you would shock someone's heart with, and they can do a fair amount of damage. Stalkers are a lot like rogues. They have retractable claws. They can also turn invisible and spring out. And finally, the Spellslinger, a gunslinging teleporter. Some very, very interesting classes. I'd really advise that you take a look at some of the resources online. And finally, we have these paths. Again, this is something unique with this game, as well as the job that's yours with your class. You have a path that you're going to follow throughout the game. And depending on which path you choose, that's going to unlock additional content. It's also going to allow you to do things for your fellow players. And if you work together with other paths, you can do even more things. Again, there's a great video from Carbine Studios. I would highly recommend you take a look at that. The last thing you do in character creation is you customize the way your character looks. That's it. So there are many different looks. Of course, everybody would love for there to be more. Aside from choosing individual presets on the face, there are also a lot of sliders. I'm clicking with the left button and dragging to the right and the left, by the way, to rotate my friend here. I'm also zooming out with the mouse wheel and zooming in with the mouse wheel. And once you accept, you give your character a name. No spaces. And you hit Create. Now, here's where things diverge a little bit, and we're going to talk a bit about the difference between the Dominion and the Exiles. We're going to take our friend Hiram character here, who is an exile human medic. And we're going to hit Create. Once your name's accepted, you end up in the ARC ship for your faction.
I'm sorry, sir. Our last jump to the Nexus system overloaded the reactor in that section. This ship is more than 3 centuries old, and...
Just find that cryopod. She's gotta be...
Welcome to the Exile ARC ship. As you can see, it's seen better days. It's about 300 years old, and as such, it needs a little bit of work. Plus, you have all of these pilgrims who are suffering from what they call cryo sickness, from being in cryopods for a long time. Now, I'm not going to take you through the starter quest, because when you sign up, you're going to have to go through that yourself, and there's a few surprises that everybody should enjoy. But as you can see, it's a little the worse for wear. Now, hitting escape. Switch character. We're going to take a look at how the Dominion starts off. Once we get done with our load screen. We've already gone through character creation, so I'm just going to take this Cassian. She's a warrior and a settler, sure. And her name is going to be Hillary character. Why not? So, now let's take a look at the ship the Dominion start off in.
I have evidence that exiles may have infiltrated our cryosystems, planting their traitorous agents among loyal Dominion citizens.
This is the Dominion Ark ship. Not nearly as threadbare as the Exile Ark ship, as you can see. Whereas the other Ark ship had a bunch of welders trying to keep the seams together, this Ark ship is resplendent in chrome and red. Oh, and by the way, need a massage? The Dominion have slaves for that. Needless to say, it's good to be part of the evil empire. You may have to do some bad things, but you get treated really well. Alright, that's it for this one. We'll see you all on Nexus.